At 6:12 on a freezing Chicago morning, Olivia Carter woke to the sound of glass shattering in her kitchen. She jolted upright, disoriented, her heart slamming against her ribs. For a second she thought someone had broken into the apartment. Then she heard her mother-in-law's voice. "Oh, relax," Diane shouted from downstairs. "I dropped one plate. Maybe if you cleaned properly things wouldn't slip." Olivia closed her eyes. 3 hours of sleep. That was all she had gotten after finishing an overnight project for one of her biggest clients. Her graphic design business had exploded over the last year, bringing in more money than her husband Ethan had ever earned at his accounting job. But inside that apartment none of it mattered. To Diane Parker, Olivia was still a failure. A woman who worked on a laptop could never be a real wife. For the last month, Diane had been staying in their condo, temporarily, after selling her house. Temporary quickly became permanent. And with every passing day the atmosphere inside the home grew heavier. Every meal became criticism. Every conversation became humiliation. Every morning became war. Olivia dragged herself downstairs to find Diane sitting at the kitchen island scrolling through Facebook while shattered ceramic littered the floor. Not only had she broken the plate, she hadn't bothered cleaning it. "You're finally awake," Diane said coldly. "Ethan leaves in 40 minutes and there's no breakfast. Honestly, I don't know what kind of marriage this is." Olivia stared at her silently. The sink was already overflowing with dishes Diane had dirtied the night before. The living room blankets Diane used were tossed everywhere. And yet somehow Olivia was still the problem. "You sit on your computer all night pretending to work," Diane continued. "A woman should take care of her husband first." Olivia bent down slowly, picking up pieces of broken glass with trembling fingers. Not from fear. From restraint. Because if she opened her mouth now, she wasn't sure she could stop. That evening things got worse. Ethan came home tired and distracted, loosening his tie as Diane immediately launched into complaints. "She slept half the day. She ignored me. She hasn't cooked a proper meal in weeks." Olivia stood near the counter, exhausted beyond words. Ethan sighed. That sigh. The same sigh he always gave before taking his mother's side. "Liv," he muttered, "can you at least try to make things easier while Mom's here?" Something inside her cracked. Not loudly. Quietly. Dangerously. Olivia looked at him for a long moment. Then she asked the question she'd been avoiding for weeks. "How long is she staying?" The room went silent. Diane crossed her arms immediately. "This is Ethan's home too," she snapped. "You don't get to decide when family leaves." Olivia looked at Ethan. He didn't answer. Didn't defend her. Didn't even look guilty. And in that exact moment she realized something terrifying. She was completely alone in her own marriage. That night Olivia didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply waited until everyone was asleep. Then she opened her laptop. For the next 4 hours she gathered every financial document connected to the condo. Mortgage statements. Bank transfers. Down payment receipts. And one detail changed everything. The condo had been purchased mostly with her money. Nearly 80% of the down payment had come directly from Olivia's business account. Ethan had contributed far less than she thought. Her stomach tightened as realization hit. All this time, Diane acted like Olivia was living off her son. In reality, her son was living off Olivia. The next morning, Diane was already criticizing her coffee before sunrise. "This tastes burnt." Olivia took a slow sip from her mug. Then calmly said, "You need to move out." Diane laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, sweetheart," she sneered, "you really think you can tell me what to do?" Olivia looked her directly in the eyes. Yes. The confidence in her voice startled them both. At that exact moment Ethan walked into the kitchen. Perfect timing. "Ethan," Olivia said evenly, "your mother has 2 weeks to leave." His expression darkened instantly. "Are you serious right now?" "Yes." She has nowhere else to go. That's not my responsibility. Diane slammed her hand against the counter. You selfish little. No, Olivia interrupted sharply. What's selfish is moving into someone else's home and destroying their peace while pretending they owe you gratitude. Ethan stared at her in shock. Because Olivia never spoke like this. Not to them. Not to anyone. But she was done shrinking herself to keep everyone else comfortable. You're being dramatic, Ethan snapped. Olivia gave a small nod. Then she pulled a folder from her bag and placed it on the counter. Inside were copies of the financial records. Ethan opened them slowly. And the color drained from his face. Diane leaned closer, confused. What is that? Olivia's voice remained calm. That's proof this condo exists mostly because of me. Silence. Heavy. Violent silence. For 3 years, Olivia continued, I let both of you treat my career like a joke while it paid for almost everything in this house. Ethan shut the folder quickly. Liv, don't do this. But now there was fear in his voice. Not anger. Fear. Because for the first time he understood something. Olivia no longer needed him. And once a woman realizes that, everything changes. 2 weeks later she filed for divorce. Diane called her evil. Ethan accused her of tearing the family apart. But Olivia didn't stop. Months passed. The court battle became brutal. Yet every document supported Olivia's claims. Every payment trail led back to her accounts. Every financial record exposed the truth Ethan had hidden behind his pride. Eventually the judge ruled in her favor. Olivia gained majority ownership of the condo. Ethan was forced to move out with Diane. The same woman who once mocked Olivia for working on a laptop, now packed boxes in silence. But the real moment came 3 days later. Olivia stood alone in the condo for the first time in months. No criticism. No tension. No footsteps. Just silence. Beautiful silence. She walked slowly through the living room, staring at the city lights beyond the windows. This place had once felt like a prison. Now it felt like freedom. Her phone buzzed softly. A message from a client in London confirming a 6-figure contract. Olivia smiled faintly. Then she blocked Ethan's number forever. Because sometimes losing a marriage isn't failure. Sometimes it's the first moment your real life finally begins.